and welcome back to Tales of Symphonia. It's all of us this time after that heart-wrenching moment of where we actually found Rain and Genus's mom, but she doesn't remember them anymore, like past the fact that she still thinks Rain is a 5-year-old and Genus hadn't been born at that point. So,
but she thinks they're
babies.
she thinks they're the dolls that she has.
Yeah. And part of that was because she sent them off to Silverant, because apparently Rain was too smart for her own good then, and they were being hunted, because, you know, half-elves are hated in this world.
When she thought, oh, they'll be safe in the other world. There won't be any prejudice against them.
There won't be any racism against half-elves there. Wrong. Where are we going now? I'm pretty sure it's plot. It might not be plot. It might be side quest. Like, if this is the last side quest episode, I'm gonna laugh because it's pretty much plot from here on out. And I think this is episode... This is 56, so 14 more to go after this. And no, we're not counting that down at all. Not one bit. What makes you think that? You're crazy. In utmost seriousness, we have been liking Tales of Symphonia, but it's gone on long enough, and James is not the biggest fan of JRPGs as he's made known.
Yeah, it certainly stretches to a point where you're kind of burned out on it. Yeah.
Yeah. For this game in particular, at least, it's like I'm really excited for when we get to Deus Ex. Like, really excited. Oh, here we find Ewan again, because he's still trying to find that ring where... Oh, by the way, James, you missed this too. Ewan was Martel's girlfriend before Martel died, and he was going to propose to her. So he's kept his engagement ring to her all these 4,000... Oh, by the way, they're 4,000 years old, too. You missed that as well. Ewan is, Kratos is, Yggdrasil is. So that guy's 4,000 years old.
Okay.
Basically, we found out that Ewan, Kratos, Yggdrasil, and Martel are the people that split the world last episode. Was it last episode or 2 episodes ago now?
I think it was the last episode, because it was
a
little bit before we found out.
Yeah, you're right, because they didn't voice act it.
They didn't voice act it, yeah.
What were you saying, James?
They had a dramatic, camera zoom.
You're about to answer me something on Discord.
Okay. We have not gotten to that scene yet, if you're about to ask me what about Kratos.
It's related to that scene.
Okay. It is coming up.
In this episode, or
it might be this episode or next episode. It's really close. Basically, we need to cause one more earthquake.
Kill a couple more people.
Pretty much, yeah. By the way, to answer your question, yes, that was answered last time too. Actually, Yggdrasil basically made a pact with a summoned spirit named Origin. He got a really cool sword that granted him magic powers, James. So that's why he's able to stay alive. Because for some reason, angels, what was it, like toxic?
Yeah, angel toxicosis.
They slow their metabolism. Was am I thinking right?
Yeah, I made a stand joke about how they can stop somebody's metabolism or something, and by freezing their metabolism within their body, they stop them from aging.
Yeah, I don't remember what it was exactly, but yeah, exactly. So, but basically, yeah, they find that out later. This is a slight spoiler, but basically, since he made a pact with Origin, he granted him a really cool sword. We get that sword eventually, so you know. There's actually been a lot of plot happening in the last couple episodes, haven't there?
Oh yeah, other than
also
I guess other than the puzzles, that's about it.
I was thinking about it. Colette got angel toxicosis again, so now she's becoming a statue. But aside from that, I think that's about it. We also almost caused the world to explode again because we caused the apocalypse again. Forgot about that.
After we were told, hey, don't do that or the world's gonna end. We're like, shut up.
Yeah.
Which should be... Why didn't you tell us?
Right, I was gonna say, Kratos told us the world was bad stuff was gonna happen. He did try to tell us, but at the same time, we didn't want to listen because it's Kratos, and to us, he's an enemy.
We had to work with him.
Yeah, I think that's about it for the most part. It just not. Oh, we rewatched the opening cutscene again, and we saw just how much made sense now as opposed to when we first started that didn't make any sense. There's still a few things that don't, but overall it makes a lot more sense now than it previously did. I think that's about it. Oh, also the elves are super racist. We found out that too.
Oh yeah, they had to.
Surprising.
I mean, it's not surprising.
Well, we went to one village where the two half-elf party members literally just had to wait on the outskirts of the village because they didn't
Yeah,
want their kind.
you can't come into the village. Stay out.
It's so awkward because it's like, hey, I already made the joke, but it's like, hey, my token black friend, you need to wait here because you're not allowed in there. I'll be back in a minute.
And then I think I made a Blazing Saddles reference after that.
Yeah, and then I said I'd never seen Blazing Saddles.
Yeah, James, you've seen Blazing Saddles, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I wonder if any of these people, they come in and see, you made a figure of me.
Right. That's creepy. No, I'm not gonna make that joke. Never mind. Sorry. I am.
Did you, whatchamacallit? Do you get any benefit from making the figures?
There might be an achievement in the PS3 version, but as far as I'm aware, not really. Basically, I was kind of here because I thought that we could access one of the super bosses. Not quite yet, but we got a cutscene while blah 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 while we're in here. So, because this is an area we visited like way back in episode 4, so I was not showing me just joking around in here because it's like, you know, that would have been a waste of time. And now we are progressing again, so. It was a little bit of an awkward cut, but it was right around here where I was really trying to skim the fat for the most part. I hadn't started cutting out the flying segments yet. That does eventually happen as well. But it's like, I really wanted to trim as much fat as possible. So it's like, for the most part, we'd been to everywhere.
Yeah, we pretty much had the map covered.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of what happens when you can fly, so.
I'm trying to think. I think we ended an episode on. Well, I think we had a Fallout rant against Bethesda most of the episode, and I can't remember if we ended it on a specific point we wanted to touch on later or not.
We partially did because we never talked about the Creators Club.
Oh yeah, Creation Club is if you ask Bethesda or Pete Hines or whoever it is on Twitter, they'll say it is not paid mods, but it is in fact mods that you can pay for.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, that's basically what it is. No matter what they say, they're modifications that you can get for free on the Nexus. Like, I mean, the idea is that some of them are copyrighted, so it's harder to get, but
Right.
they're safer and they won't affect your saves.
Mhm.
It's still kind of a stupid selling point because I think some mods eventually work that way. Like, if you're smart enough to not install 200 different conflicting mods, then I think you're fine.
Yeah. Pretty much. Yeah, I mean, it could be a lot better. We're going for the last item to cure, pull out for Angel Toxicosis, by the way.
Why not just take... I will... So they say, why not just take her to a doctor, but it's... Like, I don't know what they say. They say, you just made that up, didn't you?
Yeah.
I'm looking through my medical textbook, and this does not exist.
Also, by the way, we're going into the belly of the beast at this point. It's not the last time we do that, actually, which is really weird, but basically we are going to visit Darius Karlon here, which, you know, is where all the angels are.
Even more obnoxious than usual? Nah,
Huh, maybe Kratos was planning to betray us at some point. Maybe that's what they're hinting at. Plus that...
pretty sharp.
Plus that
Did
laughing.
that already happen?
Pardon me, Zelos, not Kratos.
Yeah, that whole...
They've hinted
They're
it.
pretty sharp thing was like, okay.
Yeah, it's like, you're pretty much just saying you're gonna betray us, aren't you? And as I said earlier, that can go one of two ways. I went the way that he doesn't die, because Zelos can permanently die, as a heads up.
Yeah, I think you told us to choose
Yeah.
the one where you don't. Because
yeah.
Just because it's...
And this is where Zelos...
Yes.
Oh yeah, we get to see all the Chosen again.
Such a sad place.
All the dead Chosen.
Wait a minute. Is this really Teth'ella?
Teth'ella.
Yeah. It looks identical to Silveron's Tower of Salvation.
Maybe it is.
My body... I can't stop shaking. This is
Why
the
are we
same
twisting
place.
the camera as we zoom in?
It can't be.
Yeah, it makes. Alright, there we go. Because it was making me kind of like.
Yeah.
Remember this?
I wasn't
Wait.
taking it as serious.
Yeah.
That's. Wait, I broke that.
Yeah, you did. You got sent like a little girl. Yep. By the way, that was not me editing that. They actually put that in.
The two worlds are connected here.
Hi again,
Of course, it's
Kratos.
the same place.
Kratos, it's you again. Who are you really? Are you really one of Mythos' companions from 4,000 years ago?
Who I am does not matter.
Good. Since you figured that
Oh,
out,
never mind.
it saves me the time to explain.
Oh,
We'll
great.
take the
Oh,
chosen as
it's
the new
crumpled up.
body for Mark
There's my
Twain.
monologue done. Thanks.
Yeah, it's like,
still
there
trying to do
goes the
that?
dramatic
Are
reveal.
you so intent on resurrecting Martel that you're willing to distort the entire world in the process?
Yeah.
I have no need to explain.
I was
So
close.
in the
I mean,
end,
I was
you
a
really
sentence
are our
off, but there it
It's
is.
magic. I ain't gotta
I'm
explain
thinking,
nothing.
Exactly.
hoping that you might be good, but you're not.
You're a bad man that does bad
Should
things,
think
Mr.
that would be
Bad Man.
obvious at this point.
Don't hold back this time.
I don't think it's a one. There eventually we do get one more Kratos fight after this, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, this
Proved.
doesn't seem like it would be a last one.
The next one's a one-on-one actually.
This judgment.
If I remember correctly, I don't think he's as broken as he was when we fought him earlier. Because I think they actually don't have his. The reason why he was so broken earlier, aside from the fact that he had spells that we had no access to yet, he also can cast the spells 2 times faster than we normally could. So that obviously makes it a problem as well.
I notice he has Demon Fang as well.
Yeah. Did you notice that? That might be hinting at something.
It's the whatever
I
the
don't-
trip's called.
I don't
on,
remember. I don't
TV
remember.
shows.
To be fair, I don't remember if Zelos has it. It might just be something that all swordsmen have. Like, since he
Demon
is,
Fang.
yeah, because Zelos and Kratos are supposed to be the part swordsman, part magic casters. So that might be what it is, or it could be what I said.
I'm
Either
getting
or.
reminded there's the trope on TV tropes of calling out your attack. Because all I hear is Demon Fang, Lightning Blade, Demon Fang, Lightning Blade.
Yeah.
I'll never lose to you.
There's something I wanted to add to that, but I know we've spoiled it, but I still don't want to spoil it a second time. But yeah, that'd be like if Pokemon did that. Wait, what was Regal's face there for a second? I think it was the same face that we were making fun of earlier.
There will be no
Sorry.
mercy
Yeah, that was
this
just-
time.
Awkward.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, this time it made more sense because it's like we were bamboozled.
Are we still alive?
No, you're dead.
Well,
Yes.
looks like we'll have
No,
a
you're
lot
dead
of
and you're in
just until
heaven.
they finish preparing Colette's treatment. Apparently, she's
I mean,
useless
I
the
don't
way
think
she
they
is
go to
now.
heaven. They haven't been confession.
Well, I think
and they've
this would be
killed-
like, this is gonna be their heaven where they think it's, oh no, God oppresses people because there's no good and evil in the world.
I was thinking of it from a Catholic perspective. They haven't got a confession, and then there's the
I'm
fact
thinking
that
of it
they've
in their universe.
right. No, and then the fact that they've murdered a lot of
Yeah.
people.
I really want to know why I keep getting captured and getting thrown into jail all the time.
Because you're always wanted. You're a wanted man.
You sure you haven't been doing anything
I think
to
you've seen
deserve
that.
it?
We've seen the posters since like
We
episode
should just be glad we
3?
have our lives.
Yeah, pretty early.
3 or something like that.
Well, yeah.
It's been it was pretty early, honestly.
Damn it.
It's funny that
This thing's
I'm talking
going
about
solid as a
episode
rock.
3 and 4 and we're on
And I can't
56.
Yeah, I know,
open
right?
the lock either.
I am just glad it's
Same here.
finishing.
It won't
Oh, by
budge at all.
the way, the girls are in
Can
a
Colette or
cage next to
Perseo
us.
break it?
No.
Oh, this is what I was talking about, by the way. You know how I was talking about? We find out that Regal
So
is
we're completely
no
trapped.
insanely strong with his hands.
Yeah, yes.
You ready for it? You ready? Yep.
he just he had opened the bars.
did you do
I thought it was like, oh, his hands are strong and they've strangled someone to death. No, it's literally just Hadouken.
He's Goku.
And since X spheres amplify their users' abilities far above their
Oh my
maximum limits,
gosh.
this result is to be expected.
This power would have been really useful
Then why don't
against
you just
enemies,
fight
I'm
with your
just
hand?
saying.
Right.
We already
I
beat them to a
swore I
pulp
would never
anyway.
fight with these hands again.
I thought you said you would never kill with those
This
hands
time,
again.
I used them in order to save you, Lloyd.
Eh, whatever.
This
You're
time
going
you
to
owe me.
unite the
So next
worlds
time we're locked in a
and
cell,
save
We're-
you
we're out of
use your
luck.
hands to break the bars open.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You better have learned
That's
from
right.
this one time I did it.
All right.
You better be
Everybody
Son
grab what you
Goku
can and
then.
let's get out of here.
Oh man, you don't get that right. Basically, the first time Goku saw Kamehameha, he learned it, even though it was supposed to take like 10 years. That's the joke.
Wow, that's... He learned it just by watching it once, and you're
Yeah.
supposed to... Wow.
Because basically Goku is supposed to be the strongest person in the universe. It's gotten out of hand at this point. Like, I haven't seen Dragon Ball Super yet. I've been reading the plot, but it's like they've hit 2 new levels of Super Saiyan, I think, since the series started. So it's like, alright, I'm done.
It's like the Mega 64. Oh, Super Saiyan 11, Super Saiyan 24,
Yep.
Super Saiyan 30.
Super Saiyan Shu! Oh, that was great. You should watch that Mega 64 video I linked you when you have a moment, by the way. Oh, it was great. Basically, Rocco took over YouTube's E3 for 2015.
Oh man. Is it like just one of their own videos, or do they actually they let them do that?
They let them do that. It's
Oh,
pretty
no.
great. It's just Rocco and 2 members of Rooster Teeth. So it's Bernie Burns and
Yeah.
Gus. And like Bernie and Gus have met, Rocco before, so they know that he likes to joke around like that. So they kind of played off of it, and it was great.
It can't be as awkward as
Firefall.
No, there was
Have you seen the Firefall stream?
no. I don't think I have. I'm thinking
Oh.
of E3 20. I think it was E3 2014 or 15 when they had. I think it was like Jeff Keighley. So, or wait, they had Jeff Keighley and they had the one guy from Community. And the problem is the guy from Community was really sarcastic and like irritating the whole time. He was basically trying to be as sarcastic as possible and make like really degrading jokes about people.
Oh,
So, like Jeff Keighley would say, "All right, we got this new game coming up. We got this, that." And Jeff Keighley would say, "Yeah, it's you'd like it if you live in your mother's basement and you got Cheeto dust on your fingers." And Jeff Keighley's like, "Yeah, like it's that awkward kind of. You're really making me uncomfortable." kind of
Right,
laugh."
it's like,
They're all
you're
angels.
funny.
We're gonna get
That's
caught
how,
if we
and the
keep
whole
wandering
thing was
around
like
here.
that. It was just Jeff Keighley would say something
You're
like,
right.
"Here's our
We'll
next thing,"
pretend
and
to be
then
Colette's
the guy
friends.
next to him would say something
She should be
sarcastic
fine.
or like
She's
really
an angel.
bitingly critical,
Okay.
That's-
and it just make everybody uncomfortable.
That's kind of how it was when Mega 64 took basically for the Firefall thing.
Yeah.
There was like 5 days. This was back when Firefall was in beta. Firefall is now dead, by the way. Came out in 2014. It died this year.
Oh well, whatchamacallit, Lawbreakers. I think we already mentioned it. Lawbreakers died. Well,
a month later.
it's and it hasn't necessarily died. It's got 10 people.
Yeah. Right. I would like to clarify,
Right.
by the way, I didn't mean Lawbreakers. I meant a different game. I apologize. Lawbreakers was not made by the people I thought it was.
Oh, who did you think it was made by?
Mercury Steam, and they did release another game this year, but let me see what else they made. I linked it in chat earlier, but basically why I do that, the Firefall thing. So what happened was they invited them on for a video, because they were doing 5 days, handing out beta keys, stuff like that. It was a 2-hour stream. It was around Halloween, and basically they went super goth the entire 2 hours, and there was maybe 10 minutes of footage, and that's a maybe. Everything else was just them messing around. Like, it's pretty super awkward. Raiders of the Broken Planet, that's the game I was thinking of.
So, whatchamacallit, you'd mentioned Clive Barker's Jericho. That was actually that actually seemed interesting because among the cast of characters that you'd swap between, they actually had a priest in there.
It's not the greatest game, honestly.
Yeah, I was browsing through the tropes, and they fall on some of the they fall on some of the tropes for a priest, but they say he's trying to get past it, and he's.
It's not that. It's more so the plot itself. Basically, the plot.
I guess it's
The plot for Jericho is God made a being so powerful God couldn't control it.
Are no longer being distributed. Return
And
to
that
your
being
area.
created Jericho?
You won't give us one?
Basically, the only thing that could happen was God has to keep sending
These are the
him.
subjects needed
Basically,
for
the
Crucius
prophets were to
crystal
keep sending that one being. Like, he could seal him,
High X-sphere research.
but he keeps getting stronger every
Oh,
time.
a being. I thought you said being. So, a
Oh,
being. He created a
sorry.
being more powerful than he was, or
Yeah.
one that control,
Yes,
and so the
exactly.
prophets were to
And we
control him.
require a fragment of
And
data
basically,
for
they
that
had to
purpose.
sacrifice themselves each time, and that's what Jericho was.
Understood. Then please show me your identity.
Like, if you look it up on Wikipedia,
Do we
it's
need
not.
that?
Yeah, it sounds convoluted. It's
Cli-
I understand
it's,
it.
It's
It's
Clive
trying to
Barker.
take.
It's Clive
Yeah.
Barker.
Lord Kratos.
Yeah, it's trying to It's sort of what Vampire does. I guess it takes established
Understood.
either church history or Jewish mysticism, and it makes it into an interesting mesh of a story. Sort of how people
Mhm.
will make their own stories, but incorporate elements of, like over here,
Yeah.
elements of Buddhism or Hinduism and
Silence,
such.
Yeah.
human.
Like, oh, that's cool
We're with
because
Kratos.
it's this thing,
Just
and
a
I'm not
moment.
as familiar with it, but it's
You
cool.
said
But I
you were
guess
going to use it for
to them, it's even
high
cooler to
research.
incorporate
That's
stuff that
right.
we know
And it
more
just so
well
happens that it's also
in that,
needed
but it
the
is
ritual,
to a
so
degree
we
pretty
came to retrieve it.
uncomfortable.
Yeah, and it
Please
was.
hurry.
The weird thing is, I didn't know the plot.
Without
Like,
identification.
I've definitely heard of
Besides,
Clive Barker's Jericho because
you
one of my
seem
friends
of
used to
the
be obsessed with
design
it.
class, and have
I'm not
humans
sure if he
among
still
you.
is, but it's like I heard about that
Complaining
game
about
way
these
too
little
frequently,
nitpicky
where it's like I
details.
started tuning him out.
You're keeping
No offense to him,
Yggdrasil waiting.
but
You
it's
wanna
like it
take
was
him
that
off?
game that
That's
basically
right.
it was that game in between
Yggdrasil
Gears of War
scary
games
and
because he was a
awesome.
Gears of War fan.
Yeah, and it's like grimdark.
Yeah,
That was the one thing I think I
Make
noticed
sure you
because I
get
saw
it.
someone review it, and I literally hear they mention, "Oh, here's our cast of characters are doing that," and then I hear the priest reciting the last half of the Hail Mary. I was like, "Whoa, okay, I
Right.
wanna take a look at this because
and yeah,
you
there-
don't see that often."
there is like it's interesting because it's like from what I understand, the priest character was fairly accurate, but the rest of
Yeah.
it is
Yeah, because they figure they want a specialist team of magics and whatever, so they'll call in stuff like a witch or
yeah.
an occult expert or a bunch of other stuff because they want a well-rounded cast of people who can fight the supernatural. But I'm glad
Right.
that one of those is. I mean, I guess I'm both glad and sad because it seems the only roles Catholics can get nowadays are bad Catholics or bad Catholic priests or the Catholic priest that everyone calls because they have a demon and they don't know how to get rid of it because no one else has exorcist rights.
Yeah.
Or good ones that actually work and aren't just people being touched by a pastor and falling on the ground.
Yeah, pretty much. By the way, you would never think it, but one of the Devil's Arms is here. So don't forget to check around here, because there it is. I don't know
Doing
why.
that side quest, right?
Yeah, we are doing that side quest. Like, this is the second last one, I think? There's not very many of them left. I still don't know why they put it here, of all places. But at the same time, we are almost done with the game, so maybe they didn't have anywhere else to go.
Or they figure it's just a good place to put it.
Yeah, but that's the only thing in this entire area. Like, there's no other chest. So, you know. By the way, that technically is an important plot there, because one of the... We find out we have to kill that member later on for in order to unleash... In order to unlock Origin. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Can you guess who the top leader is? You can probably guess it.
Is it Kratos?
Yeah, it's Kratos. So basically, we have to. There's a certain. I don't want to spoil it too much, but basically, there's a hard decision that comes up later on.
Don't the four of them follow a thing?
For them, fall what?
Don't the four of them are like they're all four of them are angels, but aren't they subordinate to a higher? Isn't there like a one singular authority that they follow, or is it just the four of them?
It's just the four of them. Pretty much, they follow Yggdrasil. They're supposed to follow Yggdrasil, but they don't.
Yeah, they went off into their own thing when they split it up.
I mean, Kratos still technically follows Yggdrasil. Remember, it's just Ewan still follows him, but works in the shadows to undermine him.
Yeah.
I mean, he still works for him, but yeah,
And the Martell's just Martell.
dead. Martell's dead.
Yeah.
I mean, not much that can be. She can't do much. But
How,
yeah,
how does an angel die? I guess is the
she was. Remember, they weren't always angels.
Oh yeah, they were mortal in that. So wait, are we talking? Are we going full Mormon here, in that they were human and then suddenly they became divine beings, but they still retained some kind of mortality so that they could die?
Kind of, actually, a little bit.
Wow.
A little bit, but I mean, I don't
So
think
then
it was.
how did they become angels then? They just kind of.
They just kind of found a technique for it.
That's
whole-
I guess they went full Mormon and just kind of like, hey.
That metabolism thing is what I'm
Yeah.
gonna go with.
Yeah.
Apparently, really controlling your metabolism is the key to Mormonism.
So wait, if controlling your metabolism and making it so that you'd live for a long time leads to that, then wouldn't, I mean, at least in this universe, couldn't all vampires be angels, because vampires are technically immortal until they're killed by something, like they can't die of old age.
I guess I don't think there's any vampires in this universe, though. If I remember.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't expect there to be, but I'm just saying, by the rules of, if it's how long you live and your metabolism, vampires would be.
I mean, I guess
that's a scary thought to have vampire angelic overlords.
Yeah. I don't know. I think we're combining, like, I don't know. To be fair, I might be wrong on some of the stuff, but Tales of Symphonia is not exactly the most thought out in this lore.
Yeah, in its lore.
And
We should get someone to do the lore for us.
To be fair, it might be expanded upon as well in the sequel.
Potentially, yeah.
There is a sequel.
Yeah, you've told me.
Yeah.
I think like in the very first couple episodes.
From what I understand, it plays entirely differently. I haven't picked it up because it's only available on the Wii, as well as PS3.
Oh, I was gonna say only on the Wii is kind of a weird decision, unless it's motion control. Because
it was
motion control is the only thing I think people would only put something on the Wii for.
Right. I mean, they could do it on the Switch now too, since technically, or the Wii U.
Yeah, it has some motion, but at least has. It's not mandatory like the Wii. Though the Wii would make it work for a lot of titles. It was just really awkward when Xbox and PS3 tried to jump on it, because the Wii's entire focus was motion control, so it had it to a science, whereas PS3 and Xbox kind of like tacked it on at the last second to say, we can fight the Wii too, and they couldn't because they were some like PS Move and whatever it was, like, yeah.
Sorry, it has been it hasn't been that long. Remember, Klutz Collette also deactivated the generators.
Oh yeah, they were trapped in the shield, and all she had to do was trip and it knocked them off.
Well, there was that one, but there was also 3 or 4 episodes ago where we were trying to disable that so we could fire the mana cannon, and she tripped and disabled it.
It's such a weird gap, because we went like a long time before she was Klutz, and then she comes back and does it again.
I don't know. I think that's been pretty consistent, because there was obviously the house originally, and then we found out what she'd fallen, the schoolhouse, I should say, and then that desert house, and then there was the time she deactivated the shield. So I guess it's not very common, but it's common enough.
Yeah, there was like a big period in between where it just didn't happen, and then it comes, and yeah.
Which, to be fair, some of that, she wasn't with the... Oh, I bet I know why. Remember, she technically wasn't herself for a while. She actually was soulless.
So she's not going to be herself, then.
Yeah. She was soulless, so that's probably why. I actually completely forgot she lost her soul for a while, but yeah. I think we're just finding out history now or something. Outstanding system. Yeah, we're just learning about the world. Oh, here we're finding about the sword that gave Yggdrasil his powers. So I didn't spoil it too early, just a little bit.
Who gave him the sword?
Origin, the summon spirit.
So the summons existed prior to the angels, then?
That's correct, yes.
So then could they... Actually, maybe it's like a shaman animist kind of thing, where like the spirits existed prior to humans, or spirits guide them, or something like that.
It could, like... As far as I understand, this game is connected to a previous game, Tales of Fantasia, but I'm not sure how far it goes in its connection, I guess.
We need to get a Gotta get a game theory on this so we can know what we're talking about.
Yeah. But, I mean, for the
It's
most
just a
part,
theory.
the game theory. I was going to say, for the most part, Tales games don't happen to interact. It's just, apparently they decided to interact Tales of Symphonia with the very first Tales game. But that'll do it this time. Thanks very much for watching, guys, and Pax Up Bonum.